Good morning everyone, Nick from Meat Smoke Fire here. This is week 26 or 27. So I make that 6 months of doing these shows, doing these live cooks, which is great. So thank you for joining us, thank you for watching. Means a huge amount. So as promised, this week we are going to do a lovely goose. By the way, Mama's here to eat the goose. But here is our beautiful goose. So we're going to cook that up in a minute. I'll talk to you about that. But we're also going to cook some stuffing to go with that. And it's Mama's recipe. She cooked it for me, 20 plus years ago. And I've been cooking it ever since. I love it. And we're also going to do our Christmas cake. So a real Christmas theme. So a bit different. Anyway, let's do the intros. So as you may have gathered,
Morning.
Helena's on the camera today. No Andy, she is moving house very shortly, so she's packing and getting ready. Mama's here, but she'll probably go inside because it's cold. And of course me. Right, so let's get on and get that goose on. So normally, and the recipe on the website is to cook a goose and to roast it in a normal roasting pan with a trivet, so a V-shaped rack, and cook it on the egg. But today I thought we would do this and we'd use the rotisserie, we'd give it a go. So this may or may not work. I'm going to show you the start of the cook, and then throughout the day I'll take photos and show you how that goes going forward. So let's get straight on. Right, let's do a little bit of prep to show you the goose. So here it is. Key with the goose, make sure you've taken the giblets out. There is nothing worse than getting to the end of your cook and finding a plastic bag full of bits inside your goose. It has been done, not by me, but it has been done. So make sure you sort that out. So inside, what you'll see with the goose is it's a really, really fatty, it's a bit like duck, really fatty cook piece. But just inside, you'll see there's big lumps of fat. So I'm going to grab my knife.
It's here.
Over here.
It's here.
No, little knife. I want my little knife for this. I'm going to grab my knife and I'm just going to cut these big bits of fat out. What you don't want is those cooking. They'll go all over your barbecue, especially when you're doing it with a rotisserie. So we're just going to cut those out. Don't throw them away. These bits, what you need to do, just be careful when you're doing that. What you need to do is render them down. This makes the best fat for roast potatoes. So we're going to trim that off. I'm going to get a bit more out of there. I'll put these all to one side in a bit. You see there's more fat in here? Can you see that? Look at that, big lumps of fat. You want to get those bits out. That's it. And then otherwise we're now pretty good. Now while you've got it this way up, just prick the skin all over.
So Mary has asked, is there any advantage to brining overnight first?
Oh, there's a question. I've not tried it on goose, but normally yes, with poultry, if you brine it overnight, the salt water actually changes the cell structure of the animal so that it will hold in more moisture. Now we're going to cook this. I want to cook this to a medium rare maybe. Goose is considered a red meat, so for a red meat that would be definitely an advantage to keep that all of that moisture in there. I haven't done that. This was from Tesco's and still frozen yesterday morning, so it spent the day defrosting.
So Franco has asked, what is the weight of the goose?
Oh, Franco, I didn't actually look. It serves 8 to 10. I'm going to say about 2 and a bit kilos. I can have a look afterwards and I'll publish afterwards. That's a good question. So I'm just going to prick the bottom as well a little bit. It's quite a fatty animal. So what you want to do is just create a few holes, and that fat then will enable that fat to fall through. Right. I have a big skewer. So this is for the Let's Q. So I am going to put an onion on there.
Oh, hello.
Enjoy that? Yeah, we're going to do it this way. So onion to go in there. I'm going to put a lemon on there. We use this for the Christmas cake, so it's got no peel on it, but it will, nearly went through my fingers, it will give it flavour. I'm going to put another onion on there. Stand back. Joking. And then we're going to stick that inside our goose and push it straight out the neck end. There we go. And get our skewer in there. Now, I also have a couple of other herbs. We've got some cinnamon, a whole stick, so I'm going to put that in there, and that will just flavour inside, and some star anise. So I'm going to pop those inside. Now they won't give it a huge amount of flavour, but just a moderate flavour. So that's all good. Our goose is bit skin's hanging down. I expected that. So what we'll do is put that other skewer in. Takes a bit of force, probably hitting bone. Oh, I've moved the other end, so I'll just go and get my spanner. 1 second. What's here? It's not going anywhere, this one. I'm going to move it into the middle of our skewer, like that. Tighten it up by hand and then with the spanner. Same with this end, it's not going anywhere. Now, what you'll see, and I'm going to turn it upside down, we've got the neck end here. I'm going to keep that bit of fat on there, and I'm just going to tie it up. So let me just wash my hands a tiny bit so I'm not so slippy. Any questions, Helen?
No, not at the moment.
So tell people, right, if there are any questions, just ask away as usual.
Okay, so someone has said, in my experience, legs always take longer to cook.
Absolutely.
Is that any different on the rotisserie?
It shouldn't be much different on the rotisserie, to be fair, but I'll do this. If you want to know how I tie these knots, it was in a previous video, but there's a guy called Scott Rea, and if you look him up on YouTube.
Was that when we did the rotisserie, the porchetta, I think?
Porchetta, yeah. So if you look him up on YouTube, he's got some great videos on how to cut those knots. So I'll just put a couple of bits around just to hold those wings in, but also to hold that skin in place. A bit more. So it's you know, his page is brilliant for learning how to tie these. It's a great skill to have, and it will hold your goose together as you cook it. I realise I've left the salt and pepper indoors. That's a sign to Mama to go and collect it. Oh, I still need to move this along. I've forgotten about the legs sticking out here. 1 second. That's better. Just need our goose to be in the middle. That's all. Now, this is a super fatty animal, so I'm going to put a drip pan in here. So let's have a look. If I can, I'm going to use that same pan. So my egg is up at roughly 180. I'm going to pop that in, and it might not clear, so we'll see how we go. Probably not going to clear with the drip pan in there, so we might be a bit fatty, but might be a bit fatty, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Mum. If you just pop them on there, because I'm filthy at the moment. I'm just going to ducks in under the camera, stealth mode.
Not a lot of salt in there. Mum, in the kitchen, by the coffee machine, are those white pots there? I nearly used it for the coffee a minute ago.
That big one of salt. Sorry, that's my fault. Right. So what I'm going to do with this goose is I'm going to borrow a bit of oil, so I'm going to jump in. I know it's fatty, just to give it a little bit for stuff to stick to. You can see it's slightly off centre in terms of weight, but that'll be fine. Get a little bit of salt. That's it. Get a bit of salt on there. And we'll do the other side of the goose Thank you. Just a little bit of seasoning on there. Grab my other salt, just for the top. You know what I'm like, I like a bit of salt.
Morning, Mark.
It'll help crisp up the fat as well. So we've got that going nicely. So I'm going to shut that down. I want the top to be just open and the bottom to be about a finger wide, and that's going to give us about 180 degrees, which is what I'm after. What I haven't done, remembered, is I want to put a probe thermometer in there. So let me just put my meter into my goose. So it's going to go in at the fat end. Just hit the bone there. There we go. And that will be able to then monitor that cook. So I'll show you how that goose cooks, what the temperature does.
Can you check the cake? I'm beginning to smell it. I can.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's the next thing. So that can sit there. That can just go. What I can do is turn. I'm going to use the meter block, and I'll set it up in a bit, just for goose, and you'll see what's going on. We're going to get a bit of smoke out the sides, but that's normal. It's quite a fatty animal.
So someone's asked, are you using a drip pan?
I haven't at the moment got a drip pan. I put in the Half Moon stainless grid I've got, expecting to put the pan on. I don't think it's going to clear the goose. I'll try in a bit, but for now, for this first few minutes, we'll just let it do its thing. I'll try and get it in afterwards. Right. So Helena wanted me to come over here. We are going to bake a Christmas cake. So, can you see that? How's that bad boy looking?
Oh, that's looking good. You might
Right.
want
So I'm going to skewer the middle. Take it out. It's come out
to
clean.
clean, yeah.
It's good. The other way,
Yeah.
I always like to do it.
Back, yeah, back.
Sorry, seems like we had an IT issue. You might want to back up, Helena. So I'm going to take that one off. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Go
go
back
back.
a bit. Right, here to cool. And we're going to show you how we did that. Right. So we'll come back to that in a minute. But first, lots of fat, obviously on here. It's going to be a bit smoky. We'll see how we get on. This is the first time I've cooked a goose on the rotisserie, so we may choose to revert back to the normal way, but I was going to give it a go.
So someone asked, what was the thermometer you were using in the goose?
The thermometer in the goose is called, this is a meter block. It's on my website. There's two versions. There's a single probe unit, and this is the block unit that has 4 probes in. So they're on my website. Brilliant. It's wireless. It hooks up to your phone so that you can then monitor it on your phone. You can set all sorts of alarms. It's great. Look at all the smoke coming off this. It's a little bit warm, so I'm going to pull it a tiny bit more shut. There we go. Right. While that smokes away, let's get on with the stuffing. So egg here. Nothing in it, so we're going to put in I'm just going to use the expander system, just raises it up, but that just makes it easier for the camera. Otherwise you could use the layer below. I've got a cast iron pan in there which will start to warm up nicely in a second. So what are we going to do? We're going to use some butter. This is about 25 grams of butter, and that will start to melt as it heats up. So we don't burn it, I'm going to put a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon of olive oil to go with it, tablespoon and a bit. And what you'll see is this will start to melt as that pan warms up. So give that a couple of minutes. Right. Oh, and I may as well, while that's melting, we'll add in our, what am I going to do first? I'll do the onions first. So I'm going to add in just some chopped onion. That's just 1 chopped onion. And we'll give that about 8 minutes just to start to melt down, soften the onions, and then we're going to put in everyone's favourite, bacon. Right, so let's go back to the cake I think now. So let me move this into there for now. Just going to wipe this board down at that corner. Right, so Christmas cake. This is how simple it is.
Could you go and get the baking rack to put that other cake on? It's in the cupboard above the right-hand oven. They're sort of standing on the end. They're on the left-hand side of the cupboard. So, right-hand oven, cupboard above, and the racks are on the left.
What have we forgotten?
Cake rack.
Oh, we don't. It's all right there, isn't it? Right.
Someone's asked, can you still get the chopping boards from Big Green Egg?
I believe you can. Just drop me an email after this. I can send you a quote, a little bit of discount. So yeah, if they sell them, I can get you a good deal on them. Right. So those of you who signed on to Insta yesterday would have seen, and I'm going to use one of these dirty spoons that we've already got in here. We've already used. You'll have seen we put together a whole bunch of fruit. So it was about 600 grams, I think, of sultanas. Raisins, sorry. 200 grams of currants. 250 grams of mixed peel, and this morning we've added in some chopped almonds, but in that went 400 millilitres, and I know that sounds like a huge amount, 400 millilitres of brandy. But if I scoop this to one side, can you see that at the bottom? There's not hardly any brandy left. It soaks it all up and it makes the fruit really moist, and it's gonna be the best Christmas cake. And these last, because they've got so much booze in them, they last for years. So if you don't eat them all, we've got a camper van. We have a cake in our camper van, and it's great. It lives in there all year round. It's not in the fridge, it's just in the cupboard. And if we ever go for a walk, we can come back, put the kettle on, cup of tea, big slice of cake. Anyway, right, into that we are going to put our batter mixture, which Helena will tell you all about.
Oh, excellent.
It's a batter mixture, that's all that matters. It's on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some
but it's just eggs and flour and
eggs, sugar, lemon zest, a bit of plain flour, ground almonds.
There you go.
And black treacle.
So that we're just going to pop in with the fruit. So I'm just going to use a big spatula. Now, at this point, you want to be really careful that you get all of the mixture out of this. Because there's no fruit in it yet. At the next stage, when you're going to put this in the cake tin, the more you leave in the bowl, the better, in my opinion. And I'm sure if Lexi were here, if you watched her a few weeks ago when we did some chocolate stuff, she'd prefer the whole lot. But hey, probably got too much fruit in for Lexi, to be honest.
So Mary's just said she's dehydrated her own grapes, so she has homegrown sultanas for her Christmas cake.
Oh, there you go. So, what you need to do, mix this through. Now this, if you've got a bowl that's this size, it says, look, chucked it everywhere. If you've got a bowl this size, just be careful you don't tip it out too much. Oh, he says, it's rowing it everywhere. Chef had that one, or camera lady had that one. But what you want to do is make sure you've got this mixed through nicely. So this will take a little bit of time over this, it's worth it. We're getting a lot of smoke from the goose.
Do we need to try and find a drip pan? I'm just going to find a shallow one. Mum can come and grab the camera.
Yeah, we could do.
Right, I'm going to hand the camera over to my mum for a minute.
This could be interesting.
Sorry, folks. You just got to keep on like that, all right?
Yeah. Just point at me.
Just point at me. That's right.
If you want to hold the... Yeah, you could. Right, so our cake mixture now is looking nice, nicely mixed through. And I've got a 9-inch, I think these are, square tin. I've buttered the sides or greased the sides. I've got a double layer of grease-proof paper at the bottom, or baking parchment, not grease-proof paper. And what we do is we plonk this in. Now, get it in and push it into the corners to make sure you're filling it up. You're not getting any air gaps. So we're doing that nicely. And then you can start tipping once you've done that. Oh!
Oh!
Oh, look at that.
Oh dear.
2-second rule. 2-second rule.
I don't know if those are any good.
Yeah, they'll be alright. We'll see what we can do with those. Right. This is doing...
Brilliant. Thank you.
How about this? Doing live goose when you've not cooked it before in this way. That's about as much cake mixture as you want to leave because it's going to be good. Now, push it down. That's it. Thank you, Helena. Push it down. And then the tip, after I've wiped my hands, get yourself a wet spoon and just smooth it.
No, you dip. That's it. Keep dipping it in.
Yeah.
Like.
You see?
Could you make any more mess?
Yeah. You can see I don't do the baking in this house.
Oh my goodness.
Helena does all the baking.
That's fine. That's grand.
That looks good. Right, get that out of the way. Get the cake mixture out of the way. I might borrow Mama in a second to come over. Now, what we have here. Let me wipe my fingers. I'm covered in cake mixture. This is comedy, isn't it? Right. What we have here, baking parchment, and what you can do, just wrap it round. It's got to be above the level of the cake. Does that make sense? So, Mama, you come and hold that for a second. I'm going to get my string again. You just hold it at the bottom, that's fine. Get my string again. Just going to tie it up on the corner just to hold this in place. That's it. That'll do me. Cake mixture everywhere. Who's this chef? Right. And that is now, oh, look at the smoke. I'm going to sort that out. That can now go in the egg. Now, if you look at the egg, we've got the convector in the bottom, got a baking stone here to protect the bottom. I've just got the probe. I'm using the Egg Genius just to hold the temperature. I tend to do that with baking. It's just, you know, good. And that will stop it burning. Right.
Can you just put that on the thing so it just...
Yeah.
Perfect.
But then I will get to this goose that is smoky. Right. So let's see if we can get a drip pan under this. Now, this is hot. This is definitely fatty, so burp it.
Oh my lord, we're going to be popular with the neighbours.
Yeah. Smoked goose. Right. I reckon this little bad boy, I might have to lift this out for a sec. We'll go underneath. That's better. And you can't see that because it's still going to smoke that last bit, but it's going to drip onto this pan and we're going to catch the juice.
Barry says he can see the smoke from Newcastle.
I thought he was Barry, my neighbour. I thought, well, I can understand that, but no. Right.
So someone's just asked, why do we put paper on the outside of the cake tin?
So the paper around the cake tin is to stop the heat getting at the top and burning the top. So it just protects it. It's a nice way of protecting it, if that makes sense. What you might see with the outside temperature is if you put, it's quite easy to do, the dome probe through inside the cake perimeter. If you've got it right up to the top, then you might read a different temperature. So just be careful with that. That's going to slow down in a minute, promise.
Right.
Right, let's have a look at this. So in here, starting to sweat down nicely. Our onions, they're looking good.
I'm just going to change the camera angle for a minute. I just wanted to show Mark that in smoke for Smoke Fine Food that actually we do have blue sky here today. I'm
just going to lower this just to speed it up a bit. Put it nearer the fire, it will help you. It's going to help us with the next piece, which is bacon. So let's get over to the chopping board. I have got cake mixture everywhere. I've got it on my knife.
Not the cleanest of cooks, but a good cook nonetheless.
I've got it all over the board. Did it with James Wetler. Interested to know what you thought.
Mark, how very dare you say I'm faking that sky? It'd have to be a big backdrop. Hopefully we have come back again. I know it came back, sorry, it said poor connection a minute ago, but hopefully we're back. Can someone give me a wave or a nod to let me know we're back online?
Sure we are, we'd know if we weren't.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So I've got some...
Oh yeah, someone's just joined. It's fine.
yeah, so this is dry cured. So if you can get proper dry cured bacon,
Thank
do
you.
it. If you can make your own, even better. This is streaky because I like the fat in there. And we're just gonna cut it into smaller pieces that we can then fry off in our stuffing mix. So they don't have to be too small. They're nice and thin, these. We'll unwrap that cake in a minute and see how bad it is. No, it looks lovely. Right, so let's take all of this, and I'll wash my hands again. I'm going to take it over and add it to our onions. Right, so these, oh, I can hear the fat in that still. I think we're going to have, I don't think rotisserie goose is going to work. So we might have to change it to a rotisserie pan. So we tried. We'll change it to a normal pan. I'll go and grab it in a minute, but let me just wash my hands. Any questions?
Nope.
I think goose is just way too fatty. Right. Way too fatty. Right.
Do you want to shut this down?
Yeah, let's just give it another little stir. You want to fry down the bacon a bit just to get it crisped up a little. The onions are softening nicely, so we'll give that 2 or 3 minutes now. I'm going to open it up a bit, speed it up. Look at that, that is smoky. Right, let's go and have a look at the cake. We'll get the cake out. I'll go and grab a pan, and we'll get... I'm just going to move this closer to me. So I'm just going to cut the string. Now, what's the technique here? Looks like we caught a bit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's still quite hot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too hot to turn out just yet.
Okay.
Maybe towards the end of the...
I think that's going to be perfect. I think we'll leave that a little bit. I'm just going to go and grab my normal pan to do this.
Okay. Do you not think it's going to work then?
No, I think it's just too smoky. I don't want to get it too smoky.
Okay.
So let me just go and grab my normal pan and trim it.
So we've just got a small plane going overhead. So I'm just going to go back and have another look at this stuffing. Ooh, I can get it.
You're doing the cooking now,
Oh, I was just having a look.
Right. That doesn't fit in there. I can't remember if this fits in the egg. We're going to find out. It's going to be tight. So, just going to take this out. Let's get a glove to make it a little bit easier. That drip pan is actually catching the fat, but it's still very smoky. So, take that out of the way. What I want to see if it will fit in this egg. So give me 1 second. Take the rotisserie out of the way. I'm going to swap to an indirect cook as I'd normally do. And then you'll see if this big pan fits. I can't remember if this is the one that fits or not. No, is the answer. Okay, we'll go with that one then. Which does fit. So that's just a normal T-fowl pan. Now I know what's going to happen. My trivet won't fit in this pan. No.
You have to use the one out of the pan on the...
Yeah.
Use that one.
And that's
Comedy of
then-
errors this morning.
Even that is going to fit. So it's just to hold it above the surface. So let's
Do you want to shut the lid whilst
Yeah.
you...
I'll do this. Oh well, there's live cooking for you. It's a nice idea. Should be it.
So we're just switching the goose from rotisserie to back to traditional roasting. It's just finding that it's giving off quite a lot of smoke, and we don't like our food too
Too
smoky. So Nick's
There we go.
switching it back.
And then we'll shut that down. Now, because I have adjusted the setup, you'll see the temperature has dropped dramatically. We're down at 100 degrees. We've just put a lot of cold things in there. So obviously you put cold things in, like a cold convector, the temperature's going to drop. What you don't need to do is adjust it too much. If you were at the right temperature, it will adjust itself. Now it will come back to where you want it. Now what we are going to have to do with this is just every so often come out, empty the fat out, because the fat that will come out of that goose will be a huge amount. We'll just empty it into a tray and so on. Right, let's get back to our stuffing. So you can see our bacon is starting to fry down, break up. Let's give that a little bit longer. It's looking good. So while we're doing that, I'm going to borrow the bowl, go over here. Now I've got a tin, and you can get them in packets. Hello. That wasn't supposed to happen. It's all going well today. Tin of chestnuts for traditional stuffing. So I'm just going to get these and give them a coarse chop. Don't do them too finely. You want some nice chunks in your stuffing. A tiny bit more, but that's about it. There we go. Pop those into the bowl that the onions were in. Perfect, so they're ready to go. So let's get back to our bacon and our onions. Frying down nicely. Now, everything else can go in pretty much. So I have some cumin seeds to give it a bit of an earthy flavour. So about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon. Going in. I'm not grinding them, I'm just putting them in whole. I like a bit of texture in there. So we'll stir those in, fry those. You can get the smell of those cumin seeds. Delish. Yeah, it's a little bit better further down than it's at that top level. That was the right move. Not as great on the camera, but just gets a little bit more heat. So we've got those in there. Now we're going to go in with our chestnuts. Delish. And I have about 6 slices of bread that I've just put through the blender, the blitzer. What I'll try and do now is just give that a stir. Now what you want to do is get all of that, and then I'll add the rest of the bread. You want to get all of that fat into the bread. Now what you should never do with stuffing is actually stuff the bird with it. What that does, if we put this inside the goose, I know we put onions in there, but if you put stuffing inside a goose, what's going to happen is it's going to keep that part of the bird really cold. It could make it dangerous to serve then. It will keep that bit cool. So especially with turkey, not so much with goose to be fair, but definitely with turkey. So, right, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to make a quick adjustment to put it up a layer, like that. This is, of course, this is the expander system. If you haven't got the expander system, don't worry, it works just as well. And then I'm going to take one of my plate setters, pop it in. So now I've converted my egg into an oven, indirect. I'm going to open that up, pop that in, the temperature will drop, but I'll let that warm a second before I finish mixing this last bit of bread in. Now it's soaked up. No, I haven't put in salt and pepper. About a teaspoon of each. You've already got that bacon in there, so don't put too much salt in. Bit of salt and pepper. It's simple, but it's such a delicious stuffing. And by cooking it in a pan separately, it makes cooking turkey much safer. It's not such an issue with goose. Goose is considered a red meat, so I'm going to put that in there at 180. So it you don't have to cook it to be well done, so you don't have to take it to 74 degrees like you would a turkey. Goose you can take to a medium rare, so we're going to take it to about 57 to 60 degrees, somewhere like that. I'm going to take the breasts off and serve those, or put them to one side. They will come out medium rare. The legs, on the other hand, you do need to cook a bit more. So if they're not up to probably 70 odd, bit higher than that, then I will leave them in. I'll put them back in the oven and cook them a bit more. The point of that is that the meat that is the leg meat is a bit tougher, so it benefits from cooking longer. It's nothing to do with safety. It's to do with how it will fall apart. Okay, does that make sense? Right.
So Franco says no sausage meat in your stuffing. No
sausage meat in my stuffing, just bacon. Yeah, it's really simple. Obviously you can experiment with different flavours, but so let's have another look now. So we've got a lot less smoke, he says. Lot less smoke. There's already quite a lot of fat in the bottom of this pan, so I'm going to have to drain it out. You can see our cinnamon sticks moved around. We've got a bit of smoke on the outside of the goose. I need to set up the meter to monitor it, but that's looking good. So I will post pictures of that throughout the day so you can see how it's cooking. It's probably going to take about 2 hours, that's it. So, and what we'll do towards the end, I might turn it up just to crisp up the skin, or another technique, if you like really crispy skin, is to just flip your plate setter the other way up. Take the goose off the rack and then just roll the goose around on the plate setter, on the back of the plate setter. It will draw out some of the fat, but it will also crisp up the skin. Works really well with pheasant and grouse. I know we talked about the shooting season last week, so that's another good way. Cook it with your plate setter the other way, the convector the other way up, and it'll look amazing. Should we have one last look at that cake?
Yep.
Or shouldn't I do that?
I think it should be fine. I don't think it's going to deflate.
So you can see they're looking nice. I'm going to push that in a bit, and this bit where the thermometer is, I'll push it down. I think it's all right. That's looking lovely. I've got the Egg Genius controlling that, so I know it's going to be at 180 degrees, so I'm not worrying about what the thermometer on the front's reading. So, any questions on those? Nothing's really finished today. It's going to take a little while, but I wanted to show you how I put it together and how I cooked it.
No, we're at 12:10.
Okay. So this week, convectors are coming back into stock Monday. There's some of the other stuff coming back in stock on Monday as well. A lot of the main bit. So it should be a good week this week if you're after bits. So you can always give me a shout. Any questions afterwards, let me know. All of these recipes are up on the site already. I know I've still got some of last week's to write up, so I'll do that.
So a couple of questions.
Yeah.
How long will we cook the goose for?
Goose is going to take about 2 hours, but as per usual, I'm cooking to temperature, not to time. So that's why I've put the meter thermometer into it. I'm going to get that up to 57 degrees and then let it rest. Maybe I might take it off a little bit before that. I want that to be at 57 degrees when I serve it. So a nice medium rare, maybe a little bit higher. I might take it to 62. So I'm expecting that will take about 2 hours.
Are the pizza stones back in stock?
Pizza stones are back in stock and have been for a little while. So if I haven't quoted you and you asked me to, I apologise, but do send me an email. I'll sort it out this afternoon.
And how did your first date with the new Mr. Big Green Egg go?
So interesting. Yes, I did. So I met with John, who's the new chairman of Big Green Egg in the UK. We had a 2-hour meeting on Monday. It was good to meet him. We spoke about a lot of different things. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So, yeah, nice guy. So, should make some good changes by the sounds of things. So, yeah, watch this space. So, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Not a lot coming off yet, but I wanted to show you how you set it up, how you cooked it. Thanks for bearing with us on the goose. I think putting it in the pan is definitely the best option. Rotisserie goose is not a thing, too fatty. But rotisserie duck works. I know lots of people have done that. But yeah. All right. Next week, any ideas? I know we said we're going to do a turkey at some point, so maybe that will be next week. Sorry, I'm runny nose today. Are there any other dishes you'd like us to cook? No idea what the weather's going to be like next week. It's not too bad today.
Oh, someone said ribs.
Pork ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, I assume.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Difficult to do on this. They take 6 hours. A good set of ribs is going to take 6 hours. That cake, by the way, took 4 hours. So that three and a half hours. So yeah, ribs would mean I have to get up really, really early. So I might do that as a video separately and just put it up on Insta and just edit it rather than a live video. But yeah, ribs, okay.
So Franco has said, can you do kebabs on the rotisserie?
You can do kebabs on the rotisserie. There is, you can either just use the spit as it is, or there is a device that goes on that then has 6 skewers on it, and it sounds like I need to buy one of those and show you that. Yes, you could do Mrs. Meat Smoke Fires. Not Helena's not looking happy. Another toy to buy, but yes, you can do that. Or you could do the Kelly-bab, and maybe we do that. The Kelly-bab is named after a lady called Kelly Bramall, who was big on the barbecue scene and probably still is. I just don't see much from her. But she put out this recipe, and it is, everybody does it. It's superb. Now with the Let's Q, I think I showed you this a couple of weeks ago. There is this. I'll do it. This little bit.
I'm just going to pan over to the cake because someone's missed the cake coming off. So that's the cake that we have done. Someone's asked for brownies, so that's an easy one that we could do next week.
We almost did brownies last week, didn't we?
So someone's just I've finished doing that, and then
there is this little thing that goes onto the bottom spit. So you do your kebab, your Kelly-bab on here, and then when you're finished and you want to serve it, stick it on the table, and then you can cut down like a normal kebab onto here. I'm covered in grease, but onto there, and serve it. So yeah, we could do kebabs like that. Maybe we'll do the Kelly-bab. I've never done it, so
okay. So
a friend of mine in the village, well, in the next village over, did it this week. And said he's done it loads of times and said it tasted so much better for being on the spit. So
someone's asked, what's the first accessory you would recommend to buy?
The convector, if you haven't already got it. Definitely the convector. After that, the most popular things are the cast iron grids and the baking stones. So I'd always go with that. My eggs, for all of my eggs, I have a cast iron grid, a baking stone, a convector. I've added to them all the expander system, but I didn't have it for 6 years and I still cooked on it, so that's not desperate, but it's nice. I do love the stainless steel fire bowls that sit, the basket that goes in the fire bowl gives really nice airflow, and it makes cleaning them really easy, so you can just lift everything out. But yeah, and then somewhere down the line is the Let's Q rotisserie. I didn't say that up front, even though I sell it. That is the first accessory you should buy.
Yes.
Thermopen. Mama's got one.
Defo.
You need that. You on a barbecue, you cook to temperature, not to time.
See you next week, Rachel.
So you need that. Who's that?
Transform with Teebs.
Oh, Oh, hello, Rachel. Well, goodbye, Rachel, up in Manchester. Cool. So, yeah.
So a lot of love for Kelly Bab.
Okay, Kelly Bab it is. So that may be next week. Let's do that. Since the rotisserie Goose didn't work, let's use the rotisserie next week and do a Kelly
That and
Bab.
some brownies, and then we'll figure out another.
That, brownies, and maybe a starter to go with it. So
Yeah.
perfect. Turkey can wait another week. We're not at Christmas yet. We're not far off Thanksgiving though. So, all right, we're going to call it a day. Let's just show you what we've got. Starting to cook, crisping up. We love this. This tastes so nice. Such a simple recipe. Goose, still not up to temperature, but it will get there. Looking nice, just about in that tin. I do need to drain it of fat. And then Christmas cake on the end one. I'm going to turn it out, we'll cut it and we'll show you what it looks like. But that is a good looking Christmas cake.
Someone has said about pita bread to go with the kebab.
Yep, we did pitas last week. Or flatbreads for the bruschetta, same recipe really. But yeah, we'll do some pita breads, why not? So there we go. Kebabs, pita breads, brownies, maybe something else. Perfect. All right, thanks for watching. I'm not around on Tuesday. If you're trying to get hold of me, don't bother on Tuesday. But Wednesday, I don't think I'm around either because we're helping somebody move. Andrea, who normally is on the camera, we're helping her move house. But other than that, should be around. So if you need anything, give me a shout. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon. Cheers. End at the top.